Today marks 1266 days sharing lessons I learned and continue to learn with all of you. My hope that these insights will inspire you, support your dreams, help you achieve your goals, and really empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today we speak about the exactly same topic as yesterday, part two, and because it's a very, very interesting topic. There's exactly the same people, the same effort, the same skills, but total different results. Today I'll focus again a little bit going deeper in deep truths about, and I'll share six deep truths about why is that? Why is that some people who has exactly the same skill sets and efforts but have so totally different results? And sometimes one person who has skills, capabilities, and effort not getting results, the person who do not have any capabilities but getting so much better results. So today we'll share again six truths why potentially that could be. And number one truth is that the invisible architecture of a person's life. I think that we need to understand that every single person has childhood imprints. That's such an important topic. I think sometimes we do not consider how much our childhood is influencing us. Now, is that everything? But of course, influence, how it shapes what we think and how we think. So that means a lot of times people have exactly equal capabilities, but our nervous system is built different. That means we need to understand that sometimes we have exactly the same willpower, but different nervous foundation. Because at the same situation, it could be presented to totally different people. So that means that one person has a lot of capabilities, and he's positioned in one position in one situation, and the other person doesn't have any capabilities, but positioned in exactly the same situation. And when you think about nervous system, because it's childhood imprints, that's why there are a lot of people choose to fight, fly, or freeze. I think that that's again for people who a lot of times choose to fight, a lot of times, and they still have to win. People who freeze, who stay back, it might be that they're waiting until someone else really takes the part and really to make things happen, hoping that someone else will take care of it. On people who fly to really run away and hide. So you need to understand, okay, how do you react and being able to really reprint ourselves? Because I think that childhood imprints are imprints that we're able to reprint. But if we are not aware how we have a tendency to react to certain things, we're not able to really fix that. And I think that it depends because I think that when we think about life and childhood imprints, those childhood imprints is on specific areas. For example, in one area of life, you could act one way, but in the other area of life, could act totally differently. And that's where, like, I think that's very, very important to understand that which area of life that might be not working. Because I know that, for example, in sports, I know that I will always go to fight because that's exactly how my imprint is. Like I know the sports is what I do, but in other areas, potential relationships, I potentially could go back into fly, run away, abandon. I think that is, and again, this is a part of how my life was imprinted. And I think that we need to understand that sometimes people who have such a better capabilities, they are not performing at their best because their imprints nervous system doesn't allow them to perform at their best because it's triggered to act a certain way. So that's why so many people who do not have capabilities, but because their imprints doesn't trigger them, they perform better than the person who has capabilities, but those capabilities are taken away because they triggered into be a child at that moment. Number two, truth is not all will is created equal. And what I mean by that? So that means that a lot of times people have willpower, but that willpower is coming from different places. Could be survival will. For example, I have to make it work or I will fall apart. So that means survival because if I will not make it work, I will break, I will fall apart, I will my life will be disastrous. And I think that this willpower is not sustainable because it's anxious, is nervous, it's not very strong. Secondary, like it could be a little bit probably a little bit stronger, but it's still not the best. Is ego. I need to prove something. I need to really prove that I'm the best of the best. And again, this is that could lead to the really burnouts and it has. and it even could leave you empty because you tried to prove something, and when you really achieved it, you realize that this was not something that you really actually wanted to pursue because that doesn't give you fulfillment. And I think that the most important, the level that we're supposed to pursue is grounded willpower. That means that when we actually pursue something that we have aligned with our own truth and our own purpose, and it is long term and powerful. And that's why willpower, there's two people who has exactly the same capabilities, but they use different willpowers. One person is willpower is grounded, other person is ego. So when you think about longevity, because if you think about success, it's a required longevity. So grounded will always outperform survival or ego. Now, of course, it could be that you start with survival willpower. That's totally fine to start that, but we need to transition into better willpower. A person who starts somewhere. I love the saying that it doesn't matter how small you start, what matters how big you finish. And if you start with survival and you're aware of it, and you move to ego and you move to grounded, or you just bypass ego to go to grounded, I think that's again a great way to look into it. And we need to understand that there's there's two people have both of them a lot of willpower, a lot of capabilities, but willpower could be grounded, and that's will outperform a person who doesn't have grounded willpower. Number three, deeper truth is the power of cultural code. That means that there are so many books written that people who are born in a certain year will think about money, about stocks, about bonds, about investment differently, about culture, about everything. So that means that culture code is very big. So that means that it might be that two people raised in different culture, even though they have exactly the same capabilities, they will see different things differently, and their perspective on things will be different. And because the perspective is different, even though their capabilities are exactly the same, effort is the same, but their perspective leads to different actions, and those different actions lead to different results. So that's culture code understanding. Okay, what is that relationship with money? What is the relationship with success? What is idea of what's possible? Because sometimes when I look into those two people, one has a different idea of what's even possible. What kind of expectations do they have of their own life, of their own success, of what's possible, of their actions? Person who believes that it is possible, of course, outperform person who believes that it is not possible. And as again, those are very, very important to understand. So same strengths, same mind. One has supply, the other has fight. And I think that's very, very important that we're able to understand that two people could be exactly the same, but because they raised in different cultures, they will see things differently. Because my reality, your reality is different because we have different lenses that we see reality. Number four, strategy without identity, alignment equal burnout. That means that a lot of times people pursue exactly the same goal, exactly the same dream, but one is pursuing their dream because they just don't have any dream yet to pursue. They're just pursuing because it's nice to pursue that. It's or other person pursues it because that's exactly aligns with their dreams, with their goals, with their beliefs, with their aspirations, and everything. So it means that person who is aligned will always succeed. A person who do not have those dreams that align with their identity, that means that will a lot of times lead to burnout. Because I truly believe that one of the main reasons why people have burnouts is when they really try to do something that potentially drains their energy. So that means that one person, two people who pursue exactly the same dream, one person will be drained and one person will be energized. And of course, the person who is getting energized will outperform. And that's why there are so many people who one person who has so much capabilities, so much they capable of achieving. Another person doesn't have anything and doesn't have capabilities, but that person who doesn't have capabilities yet working on something that really he is inspired, really is alignment, and is outperform the person who doesn't have alignment with what they do and pursue the dreams that is not for them. because when they do something that drains their energy, and because that it drains energy, and energy is the most important resource of life, and of course, at some point they potentially even burn out. And people say, why this person who has so much capacity do not get anything done because they just always are drained and they are not lazy, but they just they didn't find out, they didn't reflect it. And it might be that could be that they're lazy to really go inwardly and look into what do I really want to pursue. And that's again, this is not lazy. A lot I think that is insecurity, it's not being able to pursue the really, and some this fear of really pursuing something what you really truly want to pursue. So we need to really understand that what is rooted in a true identity. And I think that's very, very more important to understand is it's not just something about really doing more. It's more about becoming more aligned with your actions. I think that's very, very powerful. So that means that we're supposed to focus not on doing more, but we're supposed to do more aligned activities. Because if we're able to do more aligned activities, we're able to elevate our energies, and of course that energy will allow us to achieve more. Number five, success is cumulative, but so is self-sabotage. I think that is again understanding that every single day we are moving forward or we are going backwards. Sometimes we could maintain, but if you maintain for a long time, of course, you're going backwards because life is changing, you want it or not. If you're not changing, that means that you are going backwards. And I love this thing that success is not a leap. Success is built slowly, but at the same time, with disappointments, mistakes, regrets, they are built very slow as well. So that means we sometimes fade away with all those bad small micro behaviors, and this means that's why when we think about two people who are exactly identical in their effort and their skill sets and capabilities, one person is just making choices that will lead to better results. Because even like the most important part, energy, one person is doing so many great things at their work, another person is doing so many great things at their work, and it seems that they're doing very, very similar, but at some point other person is start to outperform and at a very fast scale, because other person just never invested their time into small things that people do not see, their health, their relationships, the things that are around it, because those things will allow them to compound. So that means one person will go down because of their health, because of their relationships. Other person will go up because now they have nurture relationships that support them. They have health that has a lot of energy. So that means at some point we need to understand that so many things influence our lives, and those small things that we do every single day will compound. Success or failure will be compounded at some point, and will be, and it's hard to really fix that overnight either. And being able to really see where we are taking ourselves right now. If we keep doing what I'm doing right now, where that potential could lead to? I think that's a very beautiful question to ask ourselves. The last truth is that achievement is not equal fulfillment. I think that sometimes we need to understand that visibility is not victory. I think that sometimes we need to understand what is the victory for us right now. Because probably the most important victory sometimes could be for someone person who is really is struggling is healing. That's a massive victory. Having that peace of mind, that's a massive victory. I think that you don't need to have external some success. I think that's why sometimes people are struggling, because some most important wins are internal, and people will not see that. People will not appreciate that you have like develop something inside that really elevates your well-being, or you fight your demons, and you finish your demons, you overcome your demons, and internally you're not able to measure that you when you build foundation, you build your character, you build yourself, you build your self-worth, you build your self-love. Those things is not measured, especially in other people's eyes, but we need to really measure as a victory for ourselves, because when we have that victory of ourselves, of internal world, and of course, that moment be able to really make go and after big achievements. And I said that achievements are not fulfillment. That's why sometimes I think that when we look into what is that fulfillment and really pursue that fulfillment, achievements will come byproduct. And I think that when we really start to pursue internal victories, then we're able to pursue those external victories as well. Because that way there's two people who has exactly the same capabilities, but one person have won internally and the other person didn't won internally yet. And that's why I think a lot of times people who do not have as much capability as well outperform a person who has capabilities, because the person who have capabilities didn't win victories internally yet, and they focus on achieving things that really doesn't align with who they are, because they need approval, validation, all the things that it doesn't matter in long term. So I hope that you reflect as well on yourself, because I think that's very, very important. Understand, okay, what is my results, and where I would love to have my result. Because if you find yourself that you're not getting the result that you would love to, I think there is something that we able to reflect, like we're able to audit our environment, we're able to reflect and audit our nervous system, how what triggers us, we're able to rewire our beliefs, perspectives, attitudes, align our identity with actions, and I think that, and the most important part, we need to play the long game. I think that when we have those in place, I think that it's much easier to get massive results. Because if we're playing short game, we get short results, but we're not getting those long term results. The most important part is when I think about playing long game, to understand that those short games need to align with long game. Because a lot of times when you look at just short game, those short games doesn't lead into the long game that we want to play. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.